Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. We're back. I'm your host, Ben. With me, as always, are my co-hosts.
Going on, it's Matt.
Yo, it's Andrew.
We took a little bit of a hiatus. I had to move my entire setup. I have arrived in my new domicile. I've got my new fancy RGB lighting set up. Folks, if you want to check that out, come see us on stream. That is also back up and running at twitch.tv/campaign comrades. But I've been so freaking busy with just general work stuff, I've been fitting work around moving. I've just been getting up every day and tackling one room, then the next, unpacked all my what I call my workbooks, like my nonfiction academic books and shit. Like that was a fucking chore that almost broke me yesterday, trying to sort them into some kind of meaningful organization. Do I go?
There's a famous man named Dewey who came up with a system for that.
No, we honestly contemplated, do we actually implement that the Dewey Decimal System? Do we do something like that? But no, I just went by subject, my general understanding of my subject stuff, because I kept, so many of my books and stuff are from classes and stuff that I still obviously have to reference and have available for my work. So it's in my mind though, I kind of organize them by these are go together because they're all the same subject, in the sense that I had one class that had all these books, and even though they're all I've got plenty of theology and philosophy and all that, but they kind of I mix and match them by that. But then I did it by that as best I could, and then I did alphabetical. But oh man, that was tough. But the real loss here is I have had no time for gaming. I've completely stagnated on Mario plus Rabbids. I'm maybe halfway through the final planet plus whatever end game thing there is with the final boss. Once you finally figure out who Cursa is, don't tell me, folks. I'm pretty sure we know who it is, but don't tell me.
Bowser Jr. and a mustache.
Yeah. No, he's in a powdered wig. Because it's heavily implied that Cursa is a woman. I've made some progress in God of War. It's mainly just cleaning up some side content. I haven't had each time I've played, I haven't had enough to really dedicate to some story times, the real story. So I've just been doing the Berserkers, which are this game's version of the Valkyries, and I've already found 2 of those fights that it's just nope, I am not leveled high enough for this. I'm not goated enough on the sticks to handle these yet.
You're saying whenever that happened with a Valkyrie, my pain side of my brain would tell me that I wasn't allowed to leave until I won.
Right. No, I had one that I did that. I was I know I can beat this fool. I'm learning his move set, I just have to stop making these stupid mistakes. There's one, it's this one guy had this one move, it's this is the mechanic from 2018 as well. It's the yellow ring attacks, that you can parry, but they break your stance if you do it wrong. And I was oh, I think I know the timing for this one. Obviously, and it's risk reward, right? Because if you parry those, it deals more stagger, or stun is what it is. It deals more stun stuff. So I'm oh, I'll do that. But then I kept fucking up the timing, and it would just eat half my health bar. And you screw up 2 of those, and that's the attempt. Yeah,
you see, the way I always go into it is I look at it and go, okay, I have one safe window where I absolutely know after this combo I can get a hit. So if I just stand and focus on dodging everything until that one combo comes out, or figure out how to trigger that one combo,
right.
I don't care if it's going to take me 20 minutes. I will
No, that's what I had to learn. You got to learn to be patient, and it's maybe some good prep work for me to actually finally take on Elden Ring. It's like to learn that that's how you gotta handle things, like not just like brute force your way through.
That was
there
my
are
biggest...
builds in Elden Ring that are kind of dummy aggressive,
like the Unga Bunga builds that you call them.
Yeah, no, that was my biggest learning curve in Elden Ring, was to be just a little more patient for those windows.
What was it, the first time that you went and hit a boss and they didn't stagger and smacked you right back? Because that's always my favorite learning moment.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like this is spoiler territory, but it's just like one of those bosses was like would do a bunch of teleporting basically. And so
it's like the old hell boss.
Yeah, so it's like you got to be again. You just got to be patient until you figure out. Okay, he's teleported. He's done a thing. I've blocked a move. Now I can throw in some. I can throw in some hits. I got to say though, the berserker fights that I have done or whatever have really turned me. I know Andrew and I were talking about this off, like in a just a private conversation, that like we love all the weapons that they have on that you have available. But I was like, the beginning of the game, I was, it was axe over anything. It was the Leviathan axe over anything. But the real boss fights have like made me like kind of have to really get good with the blades. I have studied the blades.
I mean, sometimes it's good game design to force people off the single primary weapon.
Yeah,
Not to say the Leviathan axe is in the same vein of Ratchet's wrench, but like Ratchet and Clank, like you can try to play the game entirely with a wrench.
That would be a fun, kind of Nuzlocke kind of game run, Ratchet and Clank wrench only. Yeah, that would be sick.
Oh boy, hitting the buttons that are designed to be shot with gun. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be hilarious. But yeah, it's just been, I'm hoping I see the end of the tunnel though, like the unpacking is almost done. I still have more shit I need to go pick up, but like, it's mostly almost done. I've like cleaned out like the major spaces that needed to be cleaned out so that the dog can have free reign and not worry about her, because she's got to put her nose in every single fucking corner of this new house. Got to find all like the old rusty nails and screws and all that shit that have been left in the basement and all that shit. But so those are some of my first tests that like just took me all day. But I'm getting there. So hopefully I'll get some real. Yeah, hopefully I have not gone down there. I have not gone down to the
like I said, when you guys
old
that
murder
door,
basement.
When they open that door, no interest. I'm good. I don't need the girl from The Ring pulling me down the well.
Yeah. But yeah, I have not been able to get enough gaming time in. Pour one out to our missing comrade, Mike. He has the flu. However, it's giving him plenty of more game time. I was going to say he has frustrated.
He has the poke flu.
Yeah, it's like to get frustrated and throw his Switch against the wall. He was texting us last night just about how pissed he's getting. He had made his peace with, and had drank the copium. The cope had gone full strength. He bought Violet in addition to Scarlet. He had gotten past all his complaints that he listed off in our last episode. But he's just started, what was it, the raid battles? And it's like
raids or whatever.
The peer-to-peer shit is just driving him insane.
Well, not to say like you deserve this, but you're playing Pokemon on a portable console, and a not insignificant portion of the kids or people, I should say, before I
come on,
ruin the punchline.
We've had this discussion though. Yeah, we've had this discussion.
But a not insignificant portion of them are children on McDonald's Wi-Fi while they're eating their Happy Meal.
Yep.
You're occasionally going to run into that where you have to play on their internet level.
Are you not generally gaming from a McDonald's? Because that's where I do most of it.
Arby's. Best internet.
I bring my Xbox Series S with that 4K attachable monitor, plug it in the bathroom at McDonald's. That's where I do all my gaming.
Yeah, you go into the handicap stall and you plug in there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, speaking of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that was like the first major topic I wanted to talk about today. It's just like I've just been seeing this trend. I can't say that it's really new. We take like the real kind of watershed moment as like the cyberpunk effect type of thing. But like, why are we seeing such a more consistent streak of major double and triple A games releasing in this unfinished, unpolished, unoptimized state? Like I've just got like a handful of games here that I just want to like list off, and then we could talk about them more individually. But we like have like, and this is just in like the most recent memory, right? The past like month and a half. We have Gotham Knights, Sonic Frontiers.
Fixed.
Yes, Sonic Frontiers, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Still not fixed.
Warhammer Darktide just came out.
Still kind of fixed.
We'll talk about it. I've got some things.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing as much negative as I was on release day.
No.
I mean, we're like only 3 days outside of release, and I'm seeing more positive stuff. So that's a good sign. And then we have the most recent Malefactor, which I don't think has it been released yet. Is it releasing in the next couple days?
Callisto?
Yeah,
Callisto released yesterday.
Yeah,
yesterday. Okay.
And PC already has a patch out that fixes like 99% of
quote unquote fixes. The thing you sent us today was like, you're still going to see like some stuttering in the menu when you first log on.
But that's the shader compilation. That's a Unreal Engine 4 thing that you can't get around.
Yeah.
But the thing they were running into before was that it wasn't compiling the shaders and it was doing it in game. So you were getting stutters all the time when things were loading in, which led to what it was.
So I do think there is also a unique thing going on here, is that several of these there is some difference in these games, right? It's like they all have these problems with their optimization and their performance and all this. Like they're unfinished in that regard. Then there are some others that some of them are still being praised for they're still like a good game underneath, that is being marred by these things. But then you have ones like Gotham Knights. People are maybe get mad at me saying including Sonic in that one.
I mean, every like legitimate gameplay or reviewer that I've watched basically says like the novelty wears off really quickly and it like doesn't expand on it, which makes it like every other Sonic game. So
yeah. I mean, it's just like all like the reviewers that were like self-professed Sonic fans were being like, so many of them were just like, basically, like, I want to love this. I love Sonic. He's my blue son, I can't say too much bad about him, but like you could just hear it in the tone of their voices, right? In the video reviewers and stuff that are just like, they're so pained with like the state of these things. But say Callisto is also just getting panned as just being a bad game, being beautiful to look at when it's actually running, and apparently it runs better on console, and hopefully with this patch.
The funny part being that it runs best on PS5 and then mediocre on Xbox and poorly on PC at launch was the quality mode on PS5.
Yeah, you want to break that down? Yeah, you want to break that down? What the internet sickos were saying about that?
Yeah, well, because Sony gave them dev kits before the PS5 came out and like gave them a guiding hand. Apparently, it's a conspiracy to make Microsoft look bad. Because the PS5 version runs with ray tracing in its quality mode at a steady-ish 30 frames per second.
So do they have like an explicit performance and then a performance RT, or is it just performance
quality and performance?
So that's nice. That's nice that the performance just has ray tracing in it, because usually you have to do a specific. You either have to do performance. Say like the two examples that stick out in my head were Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and
Miles Morales.
And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, but I could
Horizon.
be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure Horizon had a performance in a performance RT mode.
I
So
think
it's like,
I think that's typically more of a first party thing. Like more choices.
yeah.
This is
I mean, I always
party.
went performance RT because it's like you sacrificed a little bit. Usually the biggest thing was like crowd density. So that's something like Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank would be like, you'll see less ships in the sky for Ratchet, you'll see less people on the streets of New York for Miles Morales, but otherwise, you're still you're hitting solid 60 frames and some better graphics. So it's a good compromise in my opinion.
The funny part being that all of this grand conspiracy spinning was pretty much dispelled immediately when they put out the patch on Xbox that implemented it and said it was a bug, that it wasn't there at launch. And, all the spinning disappeared pretty quickly.
Yeah. So it's
the only thing I've seen regarding Callisto is that the combat is very divisive and that it's sometimes bogged down by it's well designed for single encounters, but when you get multiple enemies going at the same time, it can be difficult.
Yes, I saw that because of the dodging
like mechanic.
the dodging in the auto lock, and the auto aim shit. Like, it just makes it like you can't.
But everything I've seen
consistently
says that once
dodge
you
or
get,
shoot the thing you want to.
Once you get whatever like telekinetic glove thing, that it becomes a lot like the combat becomes kind of secondary to the everything else, because that's kind of like the.
I mean, that is like, I think the most glaring fault in my mind, because again, PC issues are almost par for the course. It is part of the discussion that I wanted to have, though, is like we've come to accept that, and expect that. I mean, like, you have games that like, a day one patch is nothing to be super critical of. That's always
it's essentially every game nowadays.
Yeah, and say like
Nintendo tends to avoid them. That tends to be.
I only had one, I think, recently. I feel like Mario plus Rabbids had one. But
was that a day one, like you put it in on launch day, or was that a day one, like when you played it a couple days later? There was a.
I mean, I don't think I did. Now you're testing my memory. I don't remember if I played it on launch day.
I think you played it after.
I think I.
So the only reason I bring that up is that because they typically don't do day one patches, which is the like put the game in on launch day and have to do an update.
Yeah. Let's say something like God of War Ragnarok had a day one patch, but like, and has had patches since. But like I haven't noticed any problems with them. Maybe you get a little bit. I've got like a random piece of pop in here and there, like very, very minor. I haven't seen anything like that.
I've actually heard that Ragnarok is like a technical marvel on PS4, and that it plays like nearly as well on like the PS4 Pro as the PS5. It's like just like really well optimized.
I choose to ignore that because I still enjoy all the memes of people like put the God of War Ragnarok into my PS4 Slim, and it's the meme where it's like the fans spin up and then you touch it and it explodes, and it's just
Well, notably the Pro was better thermally than the Slim.
Right.
I had a Slim, and that thing was a jet engine for Horizon.
I didn't have the Slim or the Pro. I don't think I had
old school.
I don't think I had but I don't think it was like did they have like a middle model,
a mid refresh?
Yeah, did they have that? Because I feel like I don't think I had like day one.
I don't think the PS4 had a mid refresh. I think their mid refresh was the Slim and Pro.
Okay, I think you're right. So I must have had the original model, and
because the PS3 had like 30,000 variants.
Yeah, that first PS3 was ugly.
Yeah, the shiny one.
The first PS3 was also backwards compatible all the way to PS1. So don't you dare disparage that console, sir.
I mean, you're not wrong about that.
And then the very next iteration took that away from us.
Yeah, they realized they'd rather resell them to you.
I No, because Sony didn't resell them to you for like 20 years until they made a little mini PS1 console that sold poorly because it was not as good quality as the Nintendo ones, which actually like felt like the old console, like quality plastics and.
Interesting. Yeah, I had the Pro, and that thing still fucking made a ton of noise.
Oh no, I'm not saying that the Pro was quiet. It was just better thermally than the Slim.
I still have mine back at the old my PS4 back at the old house. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Like I said, I could maybe give it to Mike, but I don't really know. I mean, the disk drive doesn't work. Is
what you
full
do
of
is you
dust
leave it
and-
you leave it there so that anytime you go back, you can remote play from your PS5 to that.
Yeah. That's why I kept mine.
I think it would explode. I'm fairly certain it would explode.
Open it up and see how much tar is built up inside of it.
Oof. I mean, that would be a fun experiment. I had to do that with the TV. I had to clean off the TV. It was gross. It was disgusting.
But not to attribute that to any one thing, because a lot of things were smoked up there. But cigars are
yeah.
They leave a film.
Yeah, there's going to be none of that in this new space.
Oh man, you're not going to wake up every morning and just spark up a Black and Mild right out of bed. It's the only way to wake up.
A nice wood tip.
Yeah,
a wood tip.
I start my day.
But just back to this, talking about these different games. Like, I do wish Mike could be here to give us the more firsthand experience because the rest of us aren't fucking sickos to waste our time or money on yet another unfinished game. I don't own any of these. I will try to play Darktide because it's on Game Pass. And like if I had more time, I would have really liked to have tested it out before this podcast, but I simply have had no time.
It's like my DM had asked me if I was gonna get Scarlet and Violet if they ever like patched it. Mm-hmm. I was like, honestly, I like look back at it. It's like I haven't really consistently been like a Pokemon fan. Like I played like Blue because it came out when we were like at the perfect age to play Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I played Gold because again, like the perfect age to play Pokemon. And then I didn't play another mainline title until I graduated college because I had a 3DS. And they had like the third generation. They had Ruby, like the remake of that on sale for like $10, and I bought that.
Yeah, I think I played Blue, Red, and what was the one on DS that I played that I always forget and have to ask Mike for, who's not here? Was it Pearl? Was that the one?
Sapphire or Pearl? That was right. One of those.
Diamond and Pearl.
Diamond and Pearl.
Ruby and Sapphire.
Maybe I had Diamond. I don't remember.
I'm the furthest back. Gold's the last Pokemon game I played.
I'd be right there with you if I hadn't picked up the 3DS one. And looking back on it, because I sold my 3DS shortly after I had it, I should have replaced that with The Link Between Worlds, because that's a better 3DS game. And it never came to Switch like I thought it would.
Since I've really fully embraced, like how much I enjoy, like, turn-based games and stuff, I feel like I should give it another shot, try to get back into it, feel out how there is actual strategy. Like I never even when I
for the meme, games, you should play Digimon. You should join me on the Digimon side of things so that we can outnumber him.
What was the last Digimon, the most recent Digimon game that was actually pretty well received?
Are you talking about Survive?
Yeah, probably.
Because from my perspective, it's Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, and then the sequel Hacker's Memory.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to give it a shot. But I wish Mike
join me on the dark side.
Yes, I wish Mike could have been here though, just to go over this part, because this came out roughly 2 weeks or a week and a half or so after launch. Just this story about there's at one point, this is no longer the case, but at one point, service technicians for Nintendo were claiming that they had not received any complaints regarding the performance state of Scarlet and Violet.
Local blind man says he can't read.
There's something to go. It was we won't get into it, but it was just funny. But it was something about like how it's most likely because of how Nintendo had contracted their call center things. It's like that's common practice in customers in call center customer service is just to be like, oh nope, you're the first one telling me about this.
You're experiencing something. Oh, it's not widespread. It's just you.
So that this basically, there's nothing we can do about it at the moment. But it's just like the absolute unmitigated gall. Nintendo was the girl with the gall. Just to say that, oh yeah, we've heard nothing.
I mean, they've launched a patch, and the funny part that I've seen, because I don't tend to like poke my nose too far into things that I don't actually care about. The only thing I've seen is that it's like actually like worse, like made some areas worse. Like
the new patch,
yeah, it's like lowered performance in some areas at the gain of like a couple others.
I mean, what they put in it was ridiculous. So it was like they put out this recent patch. It was only a gig in size, 1 gigabyte.
Well, and to defend that one part, Nintendo games are historically small.
Sure, and particularly with
their
them
patches
splitting
perspective
the two, right?
of the size of the game are different.
But like with the sheer size of and the fundamental nature of what's going on here, that's nothing.
Yes. No, I was just making it be known it's different than a 1 gigabyte update for like 150 gig COD.
Right. Absolutely. It is relative, but still speaking relatively,
yes.
That's nothing.
Yeah, I was just putting a perspective on the scale.
But it's like they did something like they said one of the bugs that they highlighted is like an issue being fixed with music not playing correctly during a battle with some of the Elite Four and like the top champion for what the team star or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, like there's a quote here. It's like, yeah, sure, my game keeps crashing the menu, and half the time I'm battling Pokemon half wedged into rocks, but at least the music will play properly in that one bit near the end.
I think the funniest thing I've seen was they were in a battle. All of a sudden, the wall next to them disappeared. They finished the battle, and then they fell through the wall that had disappeared.
We joke and say, this is a baby game, like that. Like, what do you think the literal children are doing when faced with these game-breaking bugs? They don't know what to do. Do these kids know how to reload a save?
I was gonna say it depends on the age group there, but I think there's a sweet spot where they lack the like permanence of object.
Yeah.
So like, oh, I restarted. Like, oh, whatever happened didn't happen. It's gone.
Yeah, it's just like, Pokemon level go up, shiny colors, brain chemicals get released. But yeah, so with this patch though, there was like tacked on to the very end was this tiny little acknowledgement that, finally admitting that that things aren't going right.
Things aren't good, folks.
Yeah, they say, we are aware that players may encounter issues that affect the game's performance. May is doing a whole lot of heavy lifting there.
Big lift.
The customers who are emulating our game on better playing hardware, they don't have problems, so...
It's like that's actually like, that's a joke. I know that's a bit, but like, that's an interesting, ethical question. When a company cannot be, bothered to make their game, run well, say, particularly if you've already paid for it, is it ethically acceptable to emulate?
So I can say,
we'll just say for legal reasons, we are not recommending that.
No, I can say that on my Steam Deck when I use Redacted and have tested Redacted, it is noticeable the difference in power. And I'm not being like, oh, the Switch is weaker than the Steam Deck. It obviously released like 5 years before and is also like a third the size. Like overall, like the Switch is aiming for a significantly smaller form factor. The detachable controllers and whatnot, but like, yeah, it is noticeable when you play on more modern handheld hardware, the difference if you use Redact.
But yeah, no, obviously, but it's like my question is, though, it's like, is it ethically okay to do that when they obviously have such little, they have such disdain for the player base and be like,
So-
we can't be bothered to actually
I can
ship
only
you a
speak
game,
from-
ship you a game that is playable,
I can only speak for my own usage, and my own usage only ever falls into games that I already own.
Yeah, you've already paid for it. And if I can't play it in the way that I've, tried, should obviously be trying to do it, legally the right way first. But it's like, if they can't be bothered to, make it playable, I think
it's
you're
more
in
of
the
a
clear.
like if I'm going somewhere and I don't want to carry both. Like it's nice to just have to be able to carry one.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the statement keeps going though. It's like our goal is always to give players a positive experience with our games, and we apologize for the inconvenience. We take the feedback from players seriously and are working on improvements to the games. Okay, sure. We'll stay tuned for that one.
I'd be genuinely curious what they're going to try to do to make it run better, because I don't know what are they going to target resolution. They're going to try to lower, like maybe they're going to try to lower distance rendering and try to like fog it up a little bit so that you don't have to deal as much with like the rendering out as far. But from what I've seen, I don't know how they're going to turn this around.
They've sold enough copies, so again, as far as they're concerned,
10 million in 3 days.
it's just like wipe their hands. We're good. Let's build the next.
Highest
Let's do
selling
the next
game
one.
in the longest. Is it the longest running most
Franchise?
Promises
like-
made, promises
Yeah.
kept.
whatever it is?
Mhm.
It's like the most profitable franchise or something like that.
So the other game that we have here, like we've talked about Gotham Knights and Sonic Frontiers on earlier episodes. We don't need to get too much more into that. I do want to just talk a little bit about Darktide. Like this is largely all. I mean, it's all secondhand from us because I haven't been able to put any time into it. I would very much like to give it a test, but like we talked about, like we were all excited. At least say the three of us here were 40K fans. We wanted to be able to play together and co-op. But it's just like the first thing being even before launch, like the recommended settings. Right.
Yeah.
We don't even think that Andrew's laptop can handle this.
That's I was looking at it and was like, we'd be pushing Andrew's laptop to like screen levels.
Yeah, I wouldn't even like talk about like, oh, we should try and stream it. No. I wasn't even talking
No.
about that. I just like wanted to play just recreationally.
But like because it required a 2060 to run it, if I remember correctly, that was 1080, 30
30
was that
frames.
1080? I'm basing it off memory, but you have to consider the fact that a 2060 is not at the face value the same as a 2060 in a laptop, because he has a lower TDP.
They've got less cores and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And
and it's
know very little about that,
significantly
but-
choked by heating and cooling
Mm.
because of the chassis of the laptop. Like, unless you get some of those like chunky, like real big gaming laptops, like you don't have enough cooling to run a traditional, like even like a 2060 or a 1060.
Do those cooling pad things do any good?
No.
Those external things
No.
that
No.
I told you about. I've sent you that picture. I won't actually name drop them. But one of my D&D party group members sent that picture of her having to run Elden Ring on her laptop
Yes.
using ice packs. Putting ice packs underneath it. It was just so funny.
Oh, no.
So I haven't actually tested out gaming yet on it because I haven't had enough time to figure everything
There's
out.
no time.
But so far I've been impressed by my new laptop. The fan kicks on and it's audible, but it's
Yeah.
not nearly as loud as I thought it would be.
No.
I haven't put it under load, so I don't really know what.
No, but
it's
like-
not really a good barometer.
Like I've gamed and streamed on my laptop simultaneously, and it's significantly weaker than yours. And like, yeah, the fan would spin up. Like there were a couple times, I think there were a couple games that I played and streamed simultaneously that I stopped streaming that game because when I went over and shut everything down, it was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like you are I could fry an egg on you.
Yeah, shed a single tear. But yeah, so post release of this game, though, you see so much about, again, this is been the case for all these games. Since Gotham Knights is the most obvious one, about like that whole fracas was about not being able to even consistently hit 30 frames, right? And they action,
it was locked to 30 on console.
Yeah, it's like these action games like really do require higher
60
frames, and particularly something like Dark Tide, which is like these massive hordes. You can understand technically why it struggles, but it's like, you're gonna fucking die. You're not gonna be able to play like if the frames are not high enough. But yeah, so it's like, similar, poor frame rate consistency. Then there's people are then complaining about lack of, or some incomplete features, lack of mission varieties, like the claim that they removed the player's scoreboard for missions because of quote unquote toxicity in previous
one
outputs
fun
from
fact
Fat
about
Shark.
that. Blizzard famously didn't have a scoreboard in Overwatch 1 because same thing, toxicity bad. And they decided to bring it into Overwatch 2.
Is that argument just be like, oh, like people in the voice chats being like, you fucking idiot, you died 20 times and didn't get a single kill?
It basically gives people receipts that they can like call out a single individual. And what they didn't realize was that people don't need the receipts to call out a given individual.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I would like, because like I'm a support, so I'm watching everything unfold in front of me on the field. It's like I'll watch like my tank die once, and then the DPS will be like, "Oh my god, shit! Tank has died the entire game. He's never alive. Report him for throwing. He doesn't know what he's doing." I just sent his IP address. And
I just pulled your IP. I just pulled your IP. That is so Cap Junior. I just pulled your IP.
Yeah, no, like it. But they added the scoreboard to Overwatch 2 because they want to be more esports like and more esports friendly, and that's one of those features where it's like helps. This is all you could do in Overwatch 1 is see if your teammates were dead or not.
This is a quick little. We can either transition or just be a digression. You're talking about esports. I haven't been able to look too much into it, but like, what's going on with Nintendo, or say with like the cancellation of these Smash tournaments?
Nintendo, traditionally speaking, has never been fully supportive of competitive Smash. It has always been like tangentially okay with it.
Like, and yeah, I mean, like I know that much, in that like it goes along the lines of them being incredibly hawkish with how they treat
their
people
image
handling,
is.
And people handling their IP. Like they are.
Well,
they're
Nintendo got really
litigious.
upsetty spaghetti a couple years ago when it came to light that a majority of the top competitive Super Smash Brothers players might or might not have been pedophile sex pest.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
We have to. Even though we know different, we have to say.
I know.
Or we can speculate differently. We have to say allegedly.
Yes. Regardless, when that came out, they became very bullish on like, we shouldn't be like, this is a bad thing for us. Like, we should not be like around this. Like, so I think they've been very anti-competitive, and the only game they really care about that way is Splatoon. And the only way it gets competitive in Splatoon is not really, because it's just Splatfests, which are the like community things. And like the weird ass Splatoon hologram concerts.
There's like something going on with this one particular tournament organizing, and I don't even know. Is it like an esports group, or were they an organizers? This group Panda.
Oh yes.
Listen, I had very little. I didn't really know anything about it. Like I had. I mean, again, I'm not tied into esports
Panda
at
Global.
all. Yeah, I'm not tied into esports at all. So I like have very little. I had never heard of them before.
So the only reason I remember them is because they were a major sponsor for a YouTube channel who did Smash content. Who, when all of the happening happened, disappeared for a little while.
Interesting.
Yeah. Whether or not that means involvement, whether or not that just means like, oh wow, I was taken back that these people that I was, making a lot of video content with are, not cool.
Yeah.
Traditionally speaking.
Problematic, shall we say, diplomatically. But yeah, like I saw something like Ludwig was like offering like to host and fund like their like a makeup tournament, like to help like the the creators who are involved and who are going to like lose out on because people make this stuff their job, right? So good on him, I guess, for trying to pick up the slack. That sucks that happens. And yeah, I can't say I wasn't surprised at all. Like we hear story after story, Nintendo, and I do recall some that Smash, competitive Smash is a consistent thing that Nintendo does not like to let happen. They don't like letting their IP out of their control.
They traditionally didn't even run first party like Smash tournaments since I think it was Melee, and that was because Melee competitive got like that was toxic. That was some like next level toxicity in person at sweaty LAN parties.
But speaking of Nintendo, we got another Mario trailer and character posters.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, the instant I saw the Peach poster, I knew there was going to be some really bad edits of it, and I wasn't wrong, as they were up on Reddit within like 30 minutes. I also will say that Peach wearing her racing outfit with her halberd is going to simultaneously awaken and enrage 50% of each side of the spectrum.
Yeah, I can say like from that poster, Princess Peach is here to stomp on my balls, and I am here for it.
What was the thing I said? It was like, this Peach knows you've been looking at her lewds, and it's like, what is she gonna do? Make me wear the Tanuki costume and make me walk around on all fours while she walks me on a leash?
I mean, didn't they show something about wasn't in this trailer Mario will have the Tanuki suit?
Yes.
Yeah,
and she picked up a fire flower at one point.
Yeah. No, plenty of those things. I do agree.
I just can't believe they went woke with the the pride flag bridge, man.
Yeah, people are so fucking dumb. I mean, I have to admit, I did do a little bit of seal clapping when I saw the Mario Kart stuff, and it's like Rainbow Road, like that kind of stuff. Like,
no, I did that when he jumped on the donut block that fell. It's like, oh my god, they're actually putting a 2D platforming section into this movie.
Right. But man,
I'm actually a little bit worried that they're trying to put too much shit into this movie from that trailer.
Sure. It's just gonna be like a reference fest. Yeah.
Which I mean agree. Isn't necessarily out of the line of what Illumination does. So
right. And then something like a license.
Do you think there's going to be a minion hidden somewhere?
Definitely.
But just like the real, the elephant in the room is the Chris Pratt voice. Like, the man himself is incredibly problematic and, is, not cool. And, that is, I think.
Oh, he's Star-Lord. You take that back. He's the coolest.
It's just like, he should kind of be like, forgotten to the dustbin of history for all that shit. But like, if this doesn't lose him some of those kind of roles, like, I don't know what I don't think there's any hope for. I think it's a larger, a smaller sign of the larger doom of our collective culture.
I mean, I sent the meme of the like Charlie Day using his regular voice.
The workplace harassment meme. Yeah, it's just like Charlie Day using his regular voice. Yeah, very cool. And like the security with It's a me, a Mario. Man.
Yeah, I mean,
any sort of Brooklyn accent that people thought they were getting from like one Mushroom Kingdom, here we come, is not there. It is not real. That's copium.
No, it was, it's Chris Pratt. Surprise. I will say, this
Are you
trailer
telling me
made
the
me.
man who doesn't have range didn't show range?
Yeah, exactly. I will say this trailer made me slightly more interested in the movie overall, though, purely
I'm gonna
for
watch it. I don't care.
Jack Black's Bowser. I mean, I'm digging what he's doing there.
I'm gonna go to the Montpelier movie theater in my trench coat alone.
I do like that Luigi is the damsel in distress.
Oh, that's the other woke thing that everyone's mad about.
Yes.
Yeah. I do think it's funny though. Like I think people are being like, yeah, is Bowser gay for Luigi? And I'd be like, yes. Please.
I mean, he was doing BDSM as he was plucking his mustache.
What do you think would be Luigi's safe word?
Ooh. Luigi.
Owie.
But he says that too frequently, you know? That's his go-to.
What does he get? What does he say when he gets scared by ghosts in like Luigi's mansion?
Also too frequently. I don't know. It'd have to be something about like, him admitting that he's cucked to Mario.
Yeah, for sure.
Mario is a superior plumber, something like that.
Mario.
Overall, I thought that trailer, obviously the first trailer was more of a teaser than anything else. I thought this second trailer did a better job of more or less showing us what we're to expect.
Are we gonna get the real heroes of the Mario story in Wario and Waluigi? Because
I mean, I don't think so, and that's what like hurts me.
I'm just gonna let you know, there's no way they're gonna put Waluigi in the first movie.
Like, listeners at home can't
Waluigi
see,
is going to fill the Knuckles role, and he's going to be voiced by Idris Elba.
Oi, bruv. I mean, yes, absolutely. Yes. Like that's prophecy being fulfilled. Say Knuckles was sexy because he was voiced by Idris Elba, and we
Knuckles
all know
in Sonic 2 was one of the best parts. All of his like. They did all of the dumb Drac stuff where it's like he takes things literally, but it was Idris Elba, so it was better.
Yeah. It was I mean, again, I don't know that I'll go see it in theaters. I'll watch it when it comes out. Absolutely.
Oh no, we're going to theaters, trench coats, fedoras, sunglasses.
Going together but separate, but individually. I'm actually closer to that movie theater now. It's actually not an hour ride for me anymore.
You're also close to
people are going to be able to try theater. Say no. You've given them the third category. They're going to be able to triangulate where I am.
Dog, I'm giving them a line. This is a line.
Yeah.
There's no triangulation there. Also, we've said 3 towns that are replicatable in other states.
How are we doing for time? We're doing pretty good. So there's a couple stories that I kind of wanted to mention. We talked about it on an episode a while ago because this story really kind of broke right around the original release of Elden Ring, but we've getting more confirmation that turns out working for From Software is like playing a Souls game. But the real question is, is it like playing Demon Souls Remake or Dark Souls 2? So that's the real question.
Vietnam flashbacks. Of being ganked by the third set of 5 enemies to jump over the wall.
Is it as the the which is why I really bring this story, is it like the quote from the one worker that they say it's kind of tense in a way. There's a lot of struggle to get things right, but if you get over the hump, it is very satisfying. It's just like you defeated a boss in Dark Souls.
Dude, I wish
So
I
Dark
felt
Souls
that
2
way.
has no satisfaction. I can't agree to that statement. Demon
Yeah.
Souls has lots of satisfaction, other than the fact that it's a bit gimmick heavy.
Yeah, so that's what I'm like. Yeah, is it actually like that? I think it's just like my reading
Maybe
of
it's
this
more
at
akin
least.
to Bloodborne.
Yeah, I don't know. But my reading is just that like that they're very much caught up in the it's an honor to work in a field that we're passionate about. We just love being able to play video games, so we'll put up with a lot of shit. Type of thing.
Including the craziest part of that story of the fact that they somehow get paid less when they work overtime.
Yeah, which is
That
like
was
which is
what?
unique in not even just the industry but in Japan as well. Like sometimes like they received half pay versus time and a half or whatever, which other Japanese create studios in the market
Essentially, it's
offer.
trying to incentivize not getting overtime.
Yeah.
Like trying to get stuff done in your regular time.
Well, yeah, but that's not how it works, man. It's like
I know.
they
I'm
talk
not
about
saying
it's like
that
yeah
Japanese
they
work culture is good. I'm
yeah,
not
but they
defending Japanese work culture.
most of the some people, some of the it's past and current FromSoft employees all speaking under anonymity because they're not allowed to talk to media. um some of them do complain about crunch, that the overtime pay is not good, but the biggest complaint is just insufficient base pay. Base pay that's incommensurate with the living expenses of living and working in Tokyo, one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just came out like New York and Tokyo are the top 2 most expensive cities to live in.
Which is surprising that San
Globally.
Francisco isn't higher up there.
Yeah.
Anecdotally,
I
Probably
don't
like
want to. I don't want to
that's
say
higher.
this in like a joking manner because it's not something to joke about. But I think the density of homeless people in San Francisco lowers their average.
I mean, cost of living isn't that much. Is statistically lower because there are more people who
zero
are
plus.
Yeah.
who have no money to pay for housing
Yeah,
because they are
probably true.
because such
Yeah.
policies put them out on
Again,
the
I don't
street.
want to say
Yeah.
it in like a joking manner, but like kind of.
That's not a fair. That's a pretty probably a fair impact there.
Like, is there like a homeless problem in Tokyo? Now that I'm like, do other large cities have the same problems that we do?
Feel like it is again, I don't know a whole lot about
I'm just in an American bubble, so I don't really tend to
Exactly.
see international discussion
but
on it.
it's just, I mean, I think it is more of a Western phenomenon.
It's I mean it's certainly an issue in Europe. I don't know about Asia.
And I know Japan tends to have a lot of smaller living, like
Yeah, they live much more
th-
efficiently
their
from a space perspective.
yeah, their apartments are traditionally smaller.
They literally live in the pod, but do they eat the bugs?
I mean, I eat Soylent Green.
Huh? Yeah, you're already eating the bugs. You got them beat there. Yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, this is nothing really new, and it's we're always critical of crunch. It's never a good way to produce a game. It's never actually resulted in better performance, better product, obviously better working conditions. It's just not the way to do things. But even like I mean, I worry that because of the true kind of meteoric rise of FromSoft, as like that has now firmly entrenched itself as a AAA developer, but yeah, that still has like under 400 employees across the whole studio, that unless they really build out that it's just going to be more of the
I
same.
say
if not
traditionally
worse.
speaking, FromSoft only ever ran 2 development teams. They had the A team and the B team. I don't know what their actual distinctions were, but that's how fans have always just divided the line. Like A team worked on Bloodborne, B team worked on Dark Souls 2. A team worked on Dark Souls 3, B team worked on Sekiro. Like It's not like B Team's worse. So I'm just saying that they did work on Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, I was surprised at the base fees, the base compensation too, though. That seemed low.
They have started to. I mean, they're following suit. With it is a growing trend with Japanese developers. They are implementing slight raises to base pay.
Yeah, there was a story earlier that there was a raise going out. I thought you were going to reference the funny thing that I've seen where Japanese developers have started hiring quote unquote cheerleaders to raise morale. And they just hire women to go in and like cheer them on as they code.
Because remember, like
More women employees that way.
Yeah, it's like that's how they can beef up those numbers without actually having them, being part of the teams that can be harassed.
I was gonna say they also probably have them sign a thing that says like harassment is okay.
Yeah, that's their enlightened solution. Again, less women, fewer problems of women being harassed. Simple, done.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Next. We did it. We solved sexism.
Just
like
keep
the
them
SpongeBob
separate.
and Patrick as the city's burning down around them.
So that was, that's another update on a story that actually, we touched on a while ago. This next bit is, it's been, a weekly thing for us here that it's like, that honestly is kind of a reason why I hope that we can potentially, teasing a little bit now, that we can implement some changes to the pod format going forward. Still hitting, some current events as they, as big things happen. But it's been a bit of it has turned a little bit into, this has become a Microsoft-Activision podcast, which like I don't really love it. Like, the stories are bummers and it doesn't make me feel good. Except for this last bit that I'll add, the Blizzard Albany union successfully passed their vote yesterday. 14.
What Blizzard Albany union? They don't exist.
So
There's never been a Blizzard Albany.
It's like so the vote passed 14-0. One vote was thrown out for irregularities, and 3 have been challenged.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's like, but it's basically there's a certain amount of time. I mean, even if
they were mail-in ballots, that's why.
Probably, yeah. And it's like if they
not good folks.
It doesn't matter. They have the majority. So it's there's a little bit of time that has to go before it, or like with a little bit of bureaucratic stuff that's involved, but then they'll start negotiating. But so yeah, cool solidarity with them. Fuck you, Activision, for again, just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, which, I mean, they're you can understand why they did it that way. It's always worked in the past. But we like to see that things are changing and that, workers are getting what they deserve.
I'm going to take the stance of that one EU regulator. I'm going to be biased here and say that, good. It should be
biased or based.
Yeah.
I mean, biased and based are only one letter apart, friend. And that letter is I, and I am based.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, what I really had here was we've actually heard some rumors. I guess it's still all rumors. Rumblings. Rumblings, I guess, is the best, that the FTC they've finally poked their head up from the sand that they are likely to file an antitrust lawsuit to block the deal. Probably anywhere in the next few weeks should we expect something like that coming out.
So, I mean, I want to know who's the judge that ends up going to, because if they're conservative, it's over.
Well, yeah, I mean, so first off, it hasn't even been decided yet. The 4 commissioners on the board still have to vote to
go to Clarence Thomas personally.
If that even happens, then it goes in front of then it actually goes to the courts. But so yeah, it's these rumors are potentially like
I can't wait to find out that Clarence
jumping the shark
Thomas
a little bit.
also is an Xbot.
Yeah. So he loves sexual harassment and Call of Duty. His two favorite things.
I mean,
was he the one who voted against interracial marriage? No, that was McConnell.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys that I met Clarence Thomas?
Yes. I remember.
In college, and he was the most he's the most like uncharismatic and just unfriendly person you've ever met. Like the whole thing is like we're perspective. This is back when I was a sicko who thought I still wanted to I was like pre-law and thinking I was going to do stuff like that. But it's like we're all like perspective. Entering the field. And all that, and it's like his first thing is like, don't ask me about cases or opinions. Past, decided, or future, or whatever. Don't do any of that.
Don't ask me about my career.
Yeah, don't do anything about that.
Ask me about my decisions.
And so like I'm like then like racking my brain when it's like my turn. What the fuck am I going to ask him about? And so coming from Connecticut, he went to Yale Law School. I'm like, you know what? I'll ask him. Like to anyone from Connecticut will appreciate. It's like the best pizza, the best Worcester Street pizza. Are you a Pepe's or Sally's? Answer
modern
or modern. Yeah, it's like. Which is one, and he's like, I have no idea. I never got pizza when I was there. It's like I have no memory of these things, and it's just the absolute. And I was just like, well, fuck me then.
I know we're not trying to put him in a comedic role, but I'm picturing is like Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, no, it's very similar.
What pizza do you like? I do not eat pizza.
Yeah, no, it's very similar demeanor, and it's just like really, really annoying. All right, but yeah, that's a digression. But
I digress.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Again, I wish Mike was here to weigh in on this. We have seen Microsoft is apparently also finally ready to offer concessions. That this is despite their previous hesitancy to provide any official remedies. If you guys remember, that was like the entire reason why the EU Commission has gone into its second phase of the investigation is because Microsoft failed to offer any remedies.
Yeah.
But apparently they're feeling the heat and are ready to deal. But that deal, apparently consists mainly of just a 10-year licensing deal to PlayStation. To Sony. Over Call of Duty. That's it.
There's a fun, interesting little information twisting going on out there, where people think that the 10-year concession was the original offer, when the original offer was, I believe, 3 years on PlayStation.
That was what was publicly discussed. Yeah,
but there's been a lot of I won't say which podcasts I've listened to who've been pushing the idea that the entire time it's been a 10-year offer to Sony, and Sony's been turning that down, trying to turn it into Sony's being greedy.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I know which podcast you're referring to, and they are like funded by Microsoft by Microsoft.
Yes,
so.
Constantly giving away Game Pass codes.
Yeah, they are an unofficial official partner, of Xbox. So no bias there.
I just thought I was listening. I actually shut it off when I was listening to it because I was like, I legitimately can't deal with people peddling wrong information.
We never do that here. We never.
No, we're always right because we are based, not biased.
Not biased. Based.
Andrew, did you see though that Activision shares went up 2% after the story about Microsoft ready to deal went out?
Yeah, I did see that, which just points again to more support that the market thinks this is going to happen, which I mean, I do too.
Yeah, because it's like just because the lawsuit gets filed doesn't exactly mean that this is in trouble. The biggest thing that I've seen though that I think is it's like a logistical thing with the nature of the deal is the fact that the companies have until July 2023 to close the deal without having to renegotiate. And any administrative lawsuit filed, at the end of the year or January could potentially, not be resolved in time, which would force, the deal to be abandoned. It would be like a pocket, or I was trying to make like a pocket veto reference, but, basically just be like, without officially going through the channels, it's just like, through
basically drag it out until it has to die.
Yeah, to the point where it can't
kill it in
happen.
litigation.
Yeah. So that's I think the most interesting piece from that. But
also let it be known, I anal.
Sure. I don't think the FTC like is one in a strong enough position, even though if I think their arguments are correct. I don't think that they have the institutional, backing.
Yeah, how much money are they worth? Microsoft's worth more, so clearly Microsoft is right.
Yeah, so even if
those with
a
more
lawsuit
money are
were to go
smart.
in, it's I mean, like at most, yeah, they'll get some concessions out of Microsoft, and that's it.
Yeah.
But Sony
even...
puts. Go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. So no, I was just gonna add that as you said previously, like going to litigation doesn't mean this is dead by any means. I mean the HBO, what was it? HBO and
the Discovery thing?
No, before that one, is it Comcast? It's not Comcast. It's the other one. HBO AT&T deal went to litigation, and the judge ended up ruling that deal could go through. So it's not. The precedent isn't that this means it's dead by any means.
Yeah, and so we've talked about it time and time again, and I won't go into it. Just like that, the Call of Duty question is, that's the smoke and mirrors, right? That's like highlighting the actually, valid concerns that you are seeing Sony put out more forcefully. That it's not really just about Call of Duty; it's about their larger library and their ability to foreclose the market through something like Game Pass to make it so that Sony just that people are going to migrate systems, and that just Sony won't be in an ability to compete like they will. Like
I do think it's funny that people think that Sony bringing back SOCOM would be enough to offset it.
SOCOM, that's a throwback.
All right, boys. This has been a good one. Anything else you wanted to throw out there before we hit them with the plugs?
Solidarity with the rail workers. They've been fucked.
Yes, absolutely. Fuck Joe Brandon. That kind of goes without saying. The man, loves so much for being, like the next FDR. And it's more like going to be like the new Reagan, except with instead of the airport, the airline unions, it's going to be the rail workers. So, and it's going to be more supply chain fuckery. Again, Brandon's America, absolutely. Bloody shambles. All right, folks. You can check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/campaign comrades. Sorry, it's been a while. Well, now that say I'm back to being more set up, we'll be back on our regular schedule. Check us out on Tuesdays for Uncut Comrades. Everything that doesn't make it into the pod will be done there, and actually that may take on more of our news role in the future. We will see. But Mike doesn't get his plug because he's not here. So sorry.
That's the rules.
Yep. All right, folks. Till next time.
Every week he's not here, I get a cut of his TCG player.
Folks. Till next time. Good night and good gaming. I love you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.